2000. Does AI make you uncomfortable?
No, or not really.
Question
Not
mark.
really. Let me say not really. AI doesn't really make me uncomfortable. Okay, when I think about AI, I think about two things. My first thought is AI as a tool. And then my second thought is to do with like what makes up AI and the ideas that it AI draws on to formulate its like responses or its behavior. The first stream of thought, AI as a tool. I think it's like any sort of progression in technology in the past. At work, we have like people from the older generation. They're always so against like digitizing everything.
And this is like the next step.
And this is
This is us being the old people.
the world is going to progress, and it's going to progress at a
Becoming that.
rate. Yeah, literally at a rate that either you get comfortable with it or you get left behind. And that's
Yeah.
actually how it's going to be, because I've worked in areas where like they still have lots of folders and they aren't digitizing things. It's in terms of efficiencies, which is how we run in this society. You have to think about like how efficient you're going to be and how you're going to be able to deliver something as quickly as possible.
In this capitalistic
You
system.
know, if you're thinking about where we exist and you're being realistic about it, you've got to get with the times, because otherwise you're left behind, or you're you're either left behind as a business or as a function in our society. You're holding our society back from progressing. So when I think about AI as a tool, I definitely think about it in terms of like the way that I use it.
Yeah.
I think about it in a way that it can enhance something that is existing, that it can offer other schools of thought that you might not have had, and it's centralized. So where you would have gone and researched a lot to be able to find one specific article that's very niche, you can literally ask it data what you want, and it'll be like, oh yeah, I'd suggest you try starting to look there.
How accurate is it?
This is the bit that's the other stream of thought,
Yeah.
which is like, where is it getting this information for? So remember how I said
Yeah.
two streams? The other, that's the bit that makes me a little bit uncomfortable, right? Where I was like, not really. That's the question mark side, because what is AI feeding from, and what perspectives is
Is
it
it
being
pulling from?
fed?
Yeah.
And when I think about the money that needs to go into AI development and the people that have access to contribute those funds and invest into something like that, I think about people who have power in our society. And usually the people that have power in our society, especially when it comes to monetary power, um, they don't be looking like us. It's all I gotta, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
They don't look like us, and they don't experience life the same way that we might experience it. And they don't have like, I think, the level of empathy and the level of like sometimes even like resilience. When I think about whose perspectives these are, I also think about who or which countries are pioneering in the industry. And I think about like America, and I think about China, and I think about Germans. Um, and I also think about like my interaction with what they perceive is reality, because everyone's realities coexist,
Yeah.
but what they are, I guess, belief system has been built off of, and the experience, exactly the experiences that they've had to build off of that. And I think about how different that is from my experience,
Yeah.
and the experience of a lot of other people. And I think this is like where I start to think, like, even in terms of like research, when you do research, you try get as many diverse voices and opinions as you can, in informing, I guess, a more nuanced but a more evidence-based kind of like solution, or like response to a problem. And I think that the pool that AI pulls from, it has based its
Answers. System.
intelligence. It's intelligence. Yeah. Yeah. It's intelligence.
Technically what it is.
Yeah, no, literally, what it has based its intelligence off of is easily biased. This is where I also get like a little bit shaky, is if people keep pulling from it as a source of truth, then our sources of truth are going to be linear.
Yeah.
And I get really worried when sources of truth are linear, because I don't think that there is one way of existing and one way that is right. But I think it's especially dangerous when everyone starts to think that this is the only way of thinking and anything outside of this way of thinking is wrong.
Yeah.
And instead of actually critically like engaging and challenging themselves to go, this is a different way of thinking. What can I take from this conversation and what doesn't resonate with me? That's different truth. This is my truth, and this is what the truth has been taught to me too. It seems like almost like when you go deep in religion. I know this is a crazy like analogy. I know, but like deep in religion, because you don't grow up thinking this is right and this is wrong for me, rather this is wrong. And that's predefined.
Yeah.
And I find similar when you use AI too much and you depend on AI too much because you think that what it tells you is inherently correct.
Yeah.
That's the bit that makes me uncomfortable because if you're using AI as a tool to enhance your critical thinking and to enhance what you have spent time sort of developing that's already nuanced and already unique to your experience, then I think that's great because it actually gets us further and it gets us especially when it comes to tasks that are more repetitive, it gets us using systems, in a more efficient way. But I think if it replaces your truth, like if you wake up and you go, "Hey AI, hey ChatGTP, today I woke up feeling groggy. What does that mean?" And it tells you and it prescribes.
Yeah, you're like, for it, you got cancer, babe.
Listen,
Even Google Doctor again.
then it's giving the same energy as like any oppressive system that discourages you from using independent thinking.
Yeah.
So that's why kinda because I can see, and especially in the way that I use it in my life, I can see how it enhances efficiencies, and especially in areas that you don't know much about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just need a starting point. Starting points are great. Starting points are great. If you don't know where to start, starting points are great. Or like you use it to hack your brain. You know, like if you know that you get distracted quickly, you're like, okay, I've realized that this is an obstacle that I encounter often. How can I best like counteract that? Let me go and see what other people are doing. Then it will give you that information. You decide what you want to take and what is.
But you're like,
nah, that's not gonna work for my life.
Wait a second.
That doesn't affect me in the way that it's affected other people. I still think you need to use it with your own intellect and your own experience and your own wisdom being the driver of its use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
Marina, does AI make you uncomfortable?
I feel like I'm more on the if not really is like makes you a little bit uncomfortable, but not that much. I feel like I'm more of like a kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that I understand what you're saying, where it's like it makes things, especially in certain areas, more efficient and work easier. But I also kind of find that like sometimes it's like you're doing twice the work. Like if you're like to AI, oh, can you like do up this email for me? You still have to read through it and double check it and then go back and put it in and then be like, oh, actually this and this needs to be changed. So then you're just doing you're spending the same amount of time and the same amount of work on it. So I feel like in some areas it can be really efficient where like you were saying, areas that you don't have a lot of knowledge of and like where you need something to like base yourself off of. But I also think that my experiences with it, like, I don't know if I'm just like I just don't trust it in general. So if I see an answer, I'm like, let me just go double check actually. So then I just end up doing twice the amount of research.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm a lot of the spheres that I've like come into contact with it or heard people talking about it is creatively, where I don't like it at all.
Yeah, no.
Where it pulls and steals from other arts, other artists, and just like creates a jumble of things, and then people use that to like sell it and make money from it and do all that. Like, I don't like that.
In terms of creative expression,
I hate it.
no.
Yeah.
It's a definite, even for myself.
Yeah.
It's like a definite no because I feel like it creative expression is unique and individualistic, and it takes away that unique and individualistic element, and it takes away the time that goes into actually pouring your experience
and
into
it
something.
takes it away from a group of people who are already like,
like,
let's be real. If you're an artist at the base level, you're struggling already. Unless you're like real famous, you're struggling. And so the AI is taking things from people that are already like not really going places.
Yeah.
And just stealing their little bits and bobs. And where does it
It's
find
taking
things?
value from creativity.
Yeah.
Like people just like I've seen people's like interface with art, and they're just like, oh, you could just do this and that.
Could you?
And I'm like, no. I think you've missed the point of art, actually. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
I feel like a lot of people and AI contributes to it where they're like, oh, like art is just the final product. It's just that. It's what we see. But it's not. There's so much more that goes into it and into the creation of it. So that's I really AI in that aspect hate. I hate it with a burning passion.
If it's pulling from creatives as well, and that's its database, what type of creatives, what narratives are being pushed out?
Is it being taken willingly or unwillingly too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that I don't like. In the workplace, hey, do whatever you gotta do to make
listen,
get through the day.
You're dull. You see in the example that you gave about the email?
Yeah.
Like the way I would do it is write it the way that I want to write it. And then usually like if I've written an email, I struggle with making sure that it's clear.
Yeah.
And whether that's because I use too much language, like because I want to be very intentional and direct about like what I'm asking for, or what I'm trying to communicate. But I'll just write it through and I'm like, can you make sure that this is very clear or uses simpler language, or a grade 4 could understand this? Like that's sort of like make sure that
like editing tool.
Edit it. And then like I'm like, yeah, I like it, Picasso face.
But do you ever get concerned that you are becoming reliant on it instead of actually changing the way that you're talking and writing?
Because
if that makes sense.
Very interestingly enough,
or has it helped you pick
it
up
helps
more?
me pick up. Yeah, it's very much helped me to pick up on areas where I might have been more verbose. And it's helped because I have identified it in myself already as something that I want to actively work on. So I will communicate how I want to come across to it, and it will show me. And when I read the response, I'm like, yeah.
You're like, wait a second.
Yeah, okay, so what did you change? And then you're like, and then like I pick up on that. It could be used as a tool on self-improvement as well, as long as you're very conscious.
Yeah. Because I feel like my concern is if you're not conscious of it, then you're losing kind of like basic skills, like in terms of writing, in terms of editing, in terms of all of that, and in terms of changing things by yourself. If you're not conscious of it when you're using the AI and of what it's changing, then are you just losing skills that you could otherwise be improving?
I don't know. I feel like the people who would use AI as like a gateway from putting in work into self-improvement would be the people who wouldn't do anything anyway. Do you know?
We're already. Well, I guess we'll never know.
Because for me, I'm just like, if you're the type of person who's just going in and using things as is, and you're not actually thinking about like how is it going to improve what I already have, but you just want to get a response out of it and copy a whole essay and paste it and claim it as yourself. Like,
as like you would be doing that anyway.
You would be doing that anyway.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Because I feel like the people who actually want to put it in the work actually want to utilize it to enhance, like to add value to what they already deem as value. And those who don't, they would be the ones asking people to write their papers for them. Let me feel, you know what I mean? And they still don't get those skills in life. They can probably talk though.
That is true. I feel like those people always can. The other thing is like similar to what you were saying, I just don't like that people take it as like face value. Like they just get it and they go, all right, cool, done. But I feel like that's more of a criticism of people than it is of the AI itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just do a little bit. Even back in the day, if you're Googling things, you don't just pick on the first thing that comes up. You scroll down. Maybe you go to the second.
I'm afraid, Marina. I'm afraid.
Some people don't.
Most
That to me crazy.
Most people don't. I'm afraid most people just click the first link and they reference their whole essay.
Trust that. And you just trust that. It's like what people used to say back in the day about Wikipedia, like, don't use Wikipedia as your source. And now they're like, just use the AI. That's fine.
It's literally the same thing.
But I feel like, again, that's my criticism of as a whole rather than AI. Like, AI is just doing what it's been told to do.
Yeah.
People are like, keep telling.
Less work for me. Yeah. That's me.
And then also,
it doesn't work though. For me, like I can tell when something's copied and pasted.
I feel like I can too.
It's too robotic.
There's no like emotion.
It's too sterile.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll use it when I want to be sterile.
Which is great for when I do.
I want this person to just have the information. They don't need any more of my personality.
Yeah.
Here you go. What were you
I was gonna say the other thing that makes me uncomfortable is just that I love that it's a free resource. Great. But you gotta be careful about what you're putting in there, what you're telling it, what information you're giving it. It's the same as you would with any other thing that you're not sure how it works or like anything like that.
Yeah, I remember vaping when it was just lollipops.
They're like, it tastes good.
It tastes good. It's water vapor. It won't do anything to your lungs. And then what happened? And then what happened?
But I feel like that's
collapsed plans because there's no one is going to know how something is going to affect the society on a long term if it's new. Yeah, so I feel like that's most of my criticisms for AI is more the way that people use it, I feel like. And that makes me uncomfortable. But then the people who are using it for art, those are especially dubious.
That's crazy to me.
Yours,
like if you can't do art, just cop it on the chin. Be fun.
Because it's something that also takes time.
Yeah.
It's the same people who are using it as a tool to just copy and paste. If you don't take time to refine on something, why do you want to claim accolades for that thing?
Yeah.
People be out here working on their skills every day. Develop
normal.
You know what I mean? Like, and then why are you just coming out here and going, oh, I like that.
Let me just copy.
Let me just sign my little name.
At the end of the day, it's more the way that people use it, and then the fact that it's just like, what do we know about it, really?
Yeah.
If someone can explain to me how it works, explain to me.
I can kind of tell you how it works. Like, I have definitely tried. Oh, the other bit, sorry. Tangent. The other bit that I just remembered, and I think I heard this on a Trevor Noah podcast, potentially. But he was talking about how a study that they did with AI, whereby they'd programmed the AI to tell from a photo of someone's face whether they were male or female, and it was able to tell male and female for other races except for Black women, where it would misgender them and put male. And then they did research and they went back to they sent the AI to Kenya or something like that. And then,
sorry, I was imagining like
they're like, the technicians in Kenya, can you please, work on this? You feed it the info because it's fed from perspective and it's fed from information that is existing. Can you please feed it information to be able to differentiate between male and female? And as they did that and it started to pick up male and female and Black people, what they were realizing is that the AI was able to pick up a pattern whereby it was looking at the contrast between the lips and the skin for other races. And that's what it was using to differentiate between male and women. And I'm like,
so just the color of the lips?
Lipstick, lip gloss, like some sort of like physical sort of like altering, maybe like,
so these scientists programmed it to pick up on
because they're men.
That's crazy.
The people writing the programs have one perspective and experience of what being a male is and what being a woman is and what constitutes as being a man and what constitutes as being a woman. And they're the ones programming it with their perspective and their experience.
Yeah.
With no other experience involved in the programming. That is the problem. Because now you think you've developed an AI that tells you what's the difference between a man and a woman, but really it's telling us the difference between what you think a man and a woman is.
Which is if they got pink lips.
No, it's not nuanced enough. If much like anything else, in this world, like whether I'm going to bring up policy, whether it be policy or anything else that is the base for which we coexist and we all use it and all interact with it, there needs to be diverse perspectives and there needs to be more than one perspective shared, because otherwise you're really just perpetuating your own belief system
and biases
into this AI. And this is where I also get concerned by what AI, what ChatGPT is pulling off of, what information has it been fed?
Where's it getting it?
What narratives have been fed? Because even if you Google the same question in different countries, you get different answers.
Yeah.
So whose agenda are we on?
So really, this all boils down to like eat the rich, dismantle the bourgeoisie.
Whose agenda are we on? Whose agenda are we on? But you know what? I'm gonna make it
Work for you.
work for me.
If it means that I don't have to work as hard,
if it means that I can get the result that I want quicker, if it means it also allows me not to get taken advantage of a lot more, because sometimes you can use, like, for example, legal language and it's so difficult and conceited to understand, and you just like copy paste, please simplify this, like you get the gist of it as you're reading it. But you know how like they add certain words and it's just like this counts but then this doesn't, you can just pop that in. She gives you a little quick summary and you're like, exactly what I thought, babes. But if I didn't have that experience before, I'd be that tool to kind of make it information equitable
and
accessible, I would be going to a lawyer for $400 in 30 minutes. That's how much I have. $400 for 30 minutes. I don't have $400 for 30 minutes of a lawyer's time for them to read this thing for me and then translate it into regular English. Why are you writing like we're in medieval times?
Hey,
anyway,
this is a whole other issue. This is a whole other episode.
I'm sorry. But it makes AI also helps make information accessible to people.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't have otherwise had it. Similar to technology, right?
Yeah.
Anyway. You got any other perspective?
Nope.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. It's just like any other tool. This is where you use it. If you're using it for like, and you're being critical with it.
Would you compare it to a library?
No.
Why?
Because a library, you have to actually physically go and find the information. You can't just be like, you have to go out and you have to figure out the Dewey Decimal System and you're like, oh, okay, E500 means that it's history. And you know?
Yeah.
And also, off topic, another topic entirely, but I feel like research is a lost skill. It really is. Back in the day when people didn't have computers at all and had to go and just sit in the library, and then now we just take it all for granted.
I don't know, because I also feel like back in the day they didn't have access to as much of history. No. You think?
No, as in like, no, they didn't.
Yeah. So it was still like, I think it goes hand in hand with digitization and like the way technology is going is as you get access to more, you can't keep doing things the way that you used to.
But then I also feel like you become complacent because you just kind of go, well, that's the first thing that popped up.
I don't know. That's not me particularly.
But it is
majority. But I think it's always been majority. I don't think there were that many researchers. I think majority of people just want like a simple life.
Crazy.
Where they don't question anything and it's just like told to them and they just follow. That's okay for them. Okay. Honestly, I can't worry about those people anymore. I can't. We all have responsibilities.
But they're the people that you interact with.
Oh my God. I can't take you with me everywhere. You need to do this shit by yourself. I can't be everyone's mom. Do you want to be everyone's mom, Marina?
No, but I also don't want to just cop the shit that they give me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fair. All right. Anyway. Well, that's it from us, guys. If you guys want to join the conversation, head on over to our Instagram.
And if you like today's episode, prove it. Like, comment, the other stuff. You know what to do.
Peace, love. See you next time.